taught in Tampa, and I just jotted down everything that he was talking about, real short versions, because he's going over a lot of stuff.
Yep.
Same thing. I separated each point because they were different points.
One thing I forgot to emphasize is that you don't know how to take notes. That's the problem. No one ever taught you how to take notes, and it's actually stressful, actually, because when I was going through college, I was like, how the hell do I, when the pen, when the pen hits the paper, you feel confined, feel like you're in prison. And then when you start drawing a circle and you put a line through it, you feel like you did something wrong. Because why am I just, there's lines for a reason. Why am I why am I drawing this big circle and start going outside the box? So therefore, there's no law that says you have to do. You can go outside the box. You get creative. The point of note taking here is so that you remember.
You have a bullet journal with you?
No, I only have this one. Not the one with the dots where you can literally go outside of the line.
Yeah, so there's this one journal that Julia likes to use. I prefer lines personally, but it's called a bullet journal. And instead of lines, it's got a bunch of dots, like dots all the way across and square. And that was really cool. I would probably recommend maybe starting off with that. There's a lot of just look up like different types of bullet journaling techniques, and you can do whatever you want. Like you write your own book. You can make things as big or as small as you want. You're not confined to the lines. I do like lines personally.
You can design it the way that you want to, and like make it like organize it the way that makes sense to you instead of just having the lines.
Have fun with it. The idea is to have fun.
I think what could happen is we use this whiteboard right here, and then you can play with the whiteboard, or you start off on a white piece of paper, taking notes on a white piece of paper. Feel like you're free, like there's you know. Dr. Lay, who I used to work for, you remember Jennifer in my text message?
Yeah.
So Dr. Lay used to take a piece of paper like this, and with every patient, he would, with every patient, it was very flowing. He had a very unique pen. It was a Uniball Jetstream. That thing was really quick. And basically, every chief complaint that you told him, he would write it all down, and he would just draw lines, and he knows exactly what to prescribe you to make sure you weren't pregnant or any allergies. And he would just go through the list and just, and pretty soon he's like, all right, well, here's your script. He puts paper away. So there's many ways, but again, yeah, because these kids, they don't know how to take notes. I'm sitting here ingraining into people taking notes, but they don't know how. They just like don't know how to communicate, how to talk.
That was a big thing when we were in high school, was taking notes, like not just for school, but like how to take notes, different techniques to take notes. I remember one technique was drawing a line down the page like that, and then you write down whatever on this side, and then you
Oh
write
yeah, I
down-
remember that. Yeah.
So I didn't like that personally, but they gave us a bunch of techniques, and for me, I separate everything. Like you can tell, like put the word to separate it.
Mm-hmm.
So like for this one, for this little section here, I put one, right understanding for the Eightfold Path, right understanding and right mindfulness is wisdom. Right speech, right action, and right living, morality. Right effort, right attentiveness, right concentration is all through concentration. So you could do it differently. You could write.
Bring me your CBT book.
I don't know, taking notes has become a lot of fun.
What'd you say?
CBT book. Yours. Did you bring it? No. Where's the
Notes.
where's the thingy for the iPad, the soft case? My book's in there. Sit. Listen. What I'm doing here is cultivating you all to be the next teacher if I die. So just watch how I do things, okay? You left the house without your primary notes today. Yes? You left the house without your book today. Why? Because you thought you had it.
No, it was just.
And when I said
decided
had
to
it,
not.
meaning you thought you had it up here.
Oh yeah,
True or false?
true.
You miscalculated.
Uh-huh,
True or false?
true.
Stephen, why do you think I carry my book bag full of all of these stuff in here? Do you think I want to carry this calendar manual? Stephen, do you have any idea how heavy this thing is? It's a lot of weight. 2 of these notes. Why do you think I'm carrying this? And then, oh, and then these 2 things here. Yeah, this is what I carry every single day. You'll never catch me without it. You see this? This is what I carry at age 35 as a Buddhist cardinal. What makes you think you don't have to carry this if I carry it? You see the laziness part?
Yep.
But this comes back to the same analogy as we're in the forest and we're gonna poop in the forest. Did you bring your toilet paper? I brought my toilet paper. Did you bring your toilet paper? And do you remember the toilet paper that I showed you, made for traveling?
Yep.
And how many were there that you've seen? See that?
Yep.
Well, let's dig even more. Let's find out what's in the Venerable's bag. It ain't baby powder, I'll tell you that. We have a charger. We have this thing. We have endless pens for note taking. So if one fails, here's the other one. That one fails, there's another one. And I'm out of luck if I have my last one. And then there's a Sharpie in there for a reason. The former president, Trump, always have a Sharpie on him. That's his thing. Tiffany, the silver company for women, the silver, have this magnificent marker that you put the Sharpie in. It's as a refill. You put this inside of its thing. $700. Why do they make it? Well, it's for rich people, but the Sharpie spells out with anything that is important in my life that is of absolute priority. I will stop everything, get out a white piece of paper, and I will start putting down priority right away. And that is like urgent, like red flag, like alarms are going off right now, which this is, you see, which is this thing. So it's not about if I got it up here or not, meaning I am very psychologically organized. If I'm sitting here not looking at any notes while giving dhamma talks, and I have switched to so many subjects and on point with so many subjects, control over 84,000 teachings, plus CBT, Western psychology, psychotherapy, techniques in psychotherapy, science, neurology, neuropsychology. I still don't think I got it. Right? That's why that pile is right there. I have every right to mess up. Who's going to tell me otherwise, right? Who's going to say, hey, yeah, you're a mess up. That's why I do it. This is called responsibility, Stephen. This is called caring about your future. This is me caring about my future. Technically, you all agree that I could retire happily, right? Never teach again and be the happiest monk somewhere, God knows where, right? I can retire at this point with the amount of work that I've done in my life, but I'm not stopping anytime soon. And this right here to show the world that this is not stopping anytime soon. So what makes you think you can stop it anytime soon? True or false? There you have it. So just when you think that, yeah, Chidao's gotten this far and he's now lazy and getting, fat, no, he's not. He's still at it. Okay. So next time you leave the house, you need to ask yourself, phone, charger, notes, book, plenty of pens, and whatever it is that you need to conquer in one day, because a lot of things can happen in one day. Yesterday, after the car plowed into the door was we couldn't shut the door. So therefore, Steve had to sit at the office, my dad's office, and guard the office for 2 hours, right? 2.5 hours, right? Now, if I was there, I would be doing this. What were you doing?
Nothing, just resting.
But you were allowed to rest because it was the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? You have to know how to pace yourself. You have to break your days up. So again, as an emerging young man of your generation, if you hope to be the next leader, and you saw on your phone that there was an 18-year-old mayor that just got elected, which city is that?
No clue what the city was, but yeah, he was 18 years old, youngest black mayor.
Well, what makes you think you can't be the next one? Now, what kind of skills do you think he's got? If he's 18 and you're 20, he's your generation.
Yeah.
Do you think he's thoughtful?
I mean, he has to be.
What is thoughtfulness?
Just like know what's everything going on around him, making sure his life is organized, thinking of others.
What does it mean? What does it mean to be an elected official, such as a mayor?
Means people vote for you
Why?
because they see the potential.
Why?
You, huh?
But why?
Yeah, why?
Why? I don't know why.
Why would you vote?
Breaking barriers, obstacles. It's amazing.
Over the motion, Jalen Smith is coming to terms that he's the youngest African American mayor in the nation. But his win didn't come as a surprise.
I did expect this to be the outcome because throughout my campaign, I was always told to outwork my opponents.
He outscored his opponent for sure, winning the election 218 to 139. A small community now getting national attention.
A lot of people get to see it, like congressmen, celebrities, probably the president probably saw it already. So it's just amazing, getting all these interviews and different things, like speaking with different people about my why and my purpose.
His why: beautifying the city, housing, and improving public safety, starting with a 24/7 police department, plus bringing a grocery store in town, which the city currently lacks. All that Smith knows won't be an easy task.
I'm a little nervous, but throughout my high school time, I've been preparing. I'm a go-getter. So whatever the city needs, I'm going to get.
4 months ago, Action News 5 was the first to travel to Earl, Arkansas to speak with him. In August, he was fresh out of high school. And now, his first job has won him the title of mayor.
I'm not going to take just me making us.
Do you know who answers to the mayor?
Who?
The police chief. And the board of commissioners, you're running the whole town. They all answer to you, and city managers answer to you. That means he has to know how to run the town. He basically now runs how whole city. Like the mayor of St. Petersburg has to know water, utilities, recreation, libraries, police departments, homelessness, the whole shebang. Skate parks, policies, rules, procedures, and then there's procedures on top of procedures on top of procedures. 18 years old. So you all have the capacity to be the next congressman, senators, but this man has been wanting to change. He has a different vision. But you have to ask yourself, what am I doing in my life that is so right?
It's not working hard enough, like you said.
Gambling, girls, drugs, sex, porn, TikTok, whatever, music, rapping. It's all nonsense. It's all nonsense. So the challenge for the next generation is be the next damn mayor, be the next governor, be the next congresswoman, be the next senator, be the next general, be the next chief of intelligence, be the next chief of police. Stephen, do you think I can run a town if they make me mayor today?
Sure.
What makes
Anyone
you
can do it.
what makes you conclude that?
Because
You thought about it too long.
you're no, I'm trying to put the words together. Like you're organized. Doesn't a mayor have to be organized to what they do and work hard every day?
You have to care.
Yes.
You have to care about the needs of other people. You have to get all your stuff in order. I hope to have a conversation with him, and I might just shoot an email to him
Good.
and have a conversation with him, a very deep philosophical generational conversation with him. Is this, when you were in high school, what kind of notes did you take? What did you focus on when you came home? Did you thought what makes you want to make your community a better community? Out of all things you could do in your life, why did you choose to run a town, which is a lot of headaches and a lot of politics, Mr. Mayor? That's something you should look up to. And when I was your age, I looked up to everybody else. I looked at lawyers, I looked at judges, I looked at all these people that went up ahead of me, and I was like, how the hell did they get to where they are? I want to be there one day. Aspiration, inspiration, and aspiration to be something better, great. Where people look up to you. We all need one to look up to, and we all can be that person that someone can look up to us.
Mhm.
Okay, so anyways, go ahead with chapter 9. One of y'all. Unless Julia wants to go first, because usually Heath always goes first.
I guess I'll go first.
Well, I got up to chapter 9.
Who got more?
She did.
Oh, okay.
She's a little bit ahead of me.
Always, right?
So on chapter 11, it was about addiction. Anyone can have it. It can be with gambling, it could be with porn, it can be with drugs, it can be with even thinking, just a bunch of different stuff. Addiction is something that ends up controlling people's lives. It usually is due to like feeling a negative behavior and wanting to numb it out or something like that. There's a lot of traps with it. You'll have cravings to do your drug of choice. So when you're stressed out, you'll want to do it. When you want to rush, you'll want to do it. There's many different traps with addiction. That's pretty much what I have.
You want to add anything, Heath?
Well, one thing I did want to add was from a moment ago, what you said about having a role model and someone to look up to. That was something that was listed in chapter 8. It says, identify inspiration for change. Role models have characteristics that you aspire to adopt yourself. So that was important to me. What you just mentioned is looking like I look up to you. I look up to people that I looked up to my stepfather. He took a role in my life that he didn't have to take as a man, and he raised me as a son. So I looked up to him. I still do, even though he's passed away. I think that's really important because for a long time, when I didn't look toward anybody that I wanted to aspire to, I had no aspiration. I had nothing to drive me, and I was just a pointless being that wasn't serving any purpose to myself or to any other person on the planet. It was just a sack of water and meat sitting around watching movies all the like. There was nothing important. Like when you say what, like another thing you mentioned is like having an important role in society. Why do people vote for you or whatever? Because you care. Like that's something that I look up to in you, is that you care and I care too. And I used to not care. And to build off of what you said, what I was talking about a minute ago, as far as like addiction goes, that is prevalent with anything. Like you briefly mentioned, I mean, you'd be addicted to being lazy, you'd be addicted to sleeping. My aunt, she sleeps all the time, all the time. Like she doesn't have a medical disorder, she just is lazy. Harry, she just sleeps. She takes 6 naps a day. She doesn't do drugs or drink, but that doesn't change the fact that most times you're not productive. And I think that being productive is the most important thing. Like one of the things that you advised me, but both of us, but more so I took, it affected me more, was stopping doing certain things that were not conducive to our growth. I don't play the Zelda game as much. I haven't played it in a little while. I love the game, but I don't watch TV really anymore. We watched a couple movies this week, which is pretty taxing. You know, we were exposing ourselves to violent. I mean, it wasn't even that. People don't even consider violence, but it is like. And I couldn't remember it because of the Black Adam, because I was messed up on the medicine.
So violent, and I was like, what people are feeding themselves is planting those unwholesome seeds, and it's awful. I was like, I don't like this actually.
Same thing with the Wakanda movie, Wakanda Forever, the Black Panther 2 movie. It was a great movie, but there was a lot of violence in it, and I didn't. That wasn't conducive to my peace. Was watching violence.
So as I added another chapter in front of the book, in a 12-chapter book, I sat there and I said, you know, the hell's going on with the world and how it affects quality of life. Well, this is to add on what I just said an hour ago. The effects of cell phone use, social media, everything's pulling us apart. Black Lives Matter, Asian hate, Jews, LGBTQ, the algorithm of social media. The algorithm is messing us up and the mind of young ones. Constant stimulation, instant gratifications, dealing with loneliness, sextortions. That was a new one this week. All this week I learned about sextortions, about how they try to get with a girl. The girl wants pictures of private parts. Because people do that. My age, we didn't do that. We were like, you down, I'm down, let's do this. And we did it. Nowadays, it's like, oh, yeah, you like my titty, so I want to see what you got. And then they send each other pictures. And then one party would try to scam the other party for money and say, well, I have your face, I got your body parts, I got your left nipple, whatever, or your right butt cheeks. I'm going to put that all together. I'm going to send it to your family and friends if you don't send me $300. Sextortions, I learned that this week. Trustworthiness of people, that's being tested. Mass shooters and mental health, politicians and drama. Spam phone calls literally drives you crazy in one day, literally, because you don't know what's important to pick up. All of them are spam, including the sheriff's office here is calling people for official business within the sheriff's office, like the warrants unit, and the warrants unit is showing up as spam too. So when you see 582, that's the sheriff's office. Pick up, damn it. So they're also pulling their hair out of their head. The metaverse and avatars. You see the avatar situation now? That they're all like literally like drawings of themselves, an inaccurate picture for the. You already know this over the past 2 weeks, we got catfishing. Oh, catfishing. We got catfishing. We got an ex-former trooper in Virginia that catfished this girl and killed her and her mom. Again, a lot of people in position of public trust acting out. Just so happens to be a cop, but there was judges too in Polk County. That committed in Polk County. Spam phone call. Okay. Social comparison, self-image, and self-performance. That's been around forever. Now it's just magnified. Weed, shrooms, LSD, drugs. This shortcuts to enlightenment. I can't tell you how many times people are like, oh yeah, ayahuasca. Well, I'm gonna go find a shaman. Okay. See ya. And come back, same condition. Nothing's changed. Spam emails, no quality of life. I get them, you get them. That's very frustrating when I have priority emails in the midst of spam emails and trying to save lives. Spam text messages. I have 4 phones. Aren't you surprised I'm mindful in this moment with 4 phones with spam text messages? So that's what all of you are up against. So as this accident happened yesterday, I started to sit there and quantify insurance, how much insurance is going to pay, how much out of pocket, and insurance is going to be hiked, and how much it costs to live in the United States, how much it costs. Literally last night, it went through my mind of all that because I haven't had gone through the economics lately. And pay attention, Mr. Economics. I was like, we go to work for 10, 12, $15 an hour. We have to pay this. We have to, if we drew that on the wall right now about the expenditures of money, the question we ask ourselves is, what are we paying for? What are we getting out of paying to live in the United States? Stephen, what are we paying for?
What are we paying for?
What are we paying for? We're paying all this stuff. We're paying for taxes. We pay for gas. We pay for clothes. We pay for all this crap, health insurance, Humana, Medicare, Medicaid. We pay for a car. We pay for car insurance. What are we paying for? What are we getting out of all this?
Nothing really.
Getting something. What is it? There you go. Yes, sir. Have you sat there and quantified your life about how much money it costs to feed you?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah. Is it fair? What else are we paying for?
Security. I feel like
Security.
to feel safe
To feel safe. Do you, in fact, feel safe?
most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll give the United States that. It's just sometimes you're in the wrong place, wrong time, and these mass shooters run around, and you're like, crap. Yeah. Okay. Well, safety above other nations, competing nations. Yeah. We have quick response times. That's why police officers have $10,000 radios on them. We pay, but yet we still don't have peace of mind.
Yeah.
We pay for only material pleasure. Oh, I got a new iPad. To watch what? More porn? Netflix? Right? Oh, I got a new phone. For what? Sextortions? Everything is material. Everything is material. In the days of the Buddha, we didn't have this, but yet there was peace of mind. In third world countries right now, there's peace of mind. They have nothing. They don't need nothing. Want nothing, owns nothing.
They're just as happy.
They're happier. They don't have. And you know what the government fails to do? A wonderful president, a wonderful Federal Trade Commission, all of them fail to limit the spam emails, the text messages. They let the marketing sector proliferate so that they can make more money. Corporate America, right? The politicians are in bed with the corporations. We don't give a crap about the needs of the people. We don't give a crap about how they go home and sleep at night. We don't give a crap about their quality of life. Let's give them more emails. Let's give them more text messages. When the elections come, jump into their phones. I find that is the most violation of privacy this Buddha has ever seen. I'm not a Buddha. You get the point. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, really, you said safety and peace. You said safety. If so safe in America, why suicide rate so high?
People are so unhappy. Like, they don't have a peace of mind.
Everything here leads to suicide. The only guy that's keeping you and giving you quality of life is this one and others that wear these things and charges nothing if they wear these things, by the way. If they're Theravadins, they can't charge money. But that's what we pay for, folks. We pay for all of this right here that I have sat there and reflected on and wrote down for the book to be published. If the publisher asks, I'm like, y'all gonna have to be patient. Because I don't know what it is. Y'all asked a 30-something-year-old monk to write a life-changing book. Y'all don't have to wait. That's what we're paying for. And if you're smart enough, you would study this so that you understand what these things are doing to your mind, your head. And because there's so many books, especially on that shelf over there, you don't know what to study, what is important.
That's true too.
The influx of information, the information overdose. You don't know what to study out of all the therapies. So therefore, you need someone who's gone there, and then bring it back to you guys. You have to trust the teacher and trust the process. But this man knows what he's talking about. I think that if I leave my peace of mind to him, I think I might just have peace of mind, right? And to see the teacher how he walks, how he talks, and whether or not he's at peace himself, how calm is he himself, and how he deals with life, how he teaches people how to deal with life. Any questions? No. Okay. So Stephen, your job is to catch up to them, which is chapter 10 and 11, within 1 week. There's no reason why you cannot do it because I finished the damn book in 2 weeks. I finished this book. This is the first edition book, but the second edition looks very similar. Same amount of pages. I finished this in 2 weeks and became enlightened. Not the Buddhist definition of enlightened, but very academically enlightened. And Stephen, chapter 5, what it did for you, it did for me in a matter of days. In a matter of days. It's amazing. So let us meditate for a second and debrief our mind, calm our mind. Got a treat for y'all. Chanting. Where's my other phone? And this is something that I'm doing more with Steven too, because he's in direct supervision. Is that I see a lot of this going on, and a lot of this is not bringing you closer to being the next mayor. And again, what is right about you, all of you, is that you all are quick, intelligent, and fast. But it also can shoot you in the foot. Remember the other day I told you that we ordered food and you forgot? You have to use these examples to wake you up and said, I'm losing my shit. I am losing my mind. And when I said go out and get 2 pounds, 2 pounds, and 1 pound is for me with just that item, no potatoes, no shrimp, none of that. And then I gave you $100 and something, right? Some of it was your pay, and then the rest went to food. And if you were in economics, you would wonder why the venerable gave you so much money for just 1 pound. That never crossed your mind, right? So the next girl you meet and she gives you $200 and she gave you the same instructions, and you done lost your head is like a chicken head running around Publix, and you come back and not bring her what she wants. You do that about 3 times, she's gonna realize something off about this dude, right? Something off about this dude. I can't. In the midst of her dealing with her own stuff, she's gonna realize that you're just like the rest of them, right? So therefore, you every time when there's a mistake, you must see the danger in the smallest mistakes in your life. Dangers in the smallest mistakes. That's what the Buddha said. Oh, here it is. I don't have it. You want to see my other phone? One, two, three. Oh, it's right here, right behind here. Here it is. So therefore, it's all about conditioning. The reason why your head is on a swivel is because the everything. Remember when I said took notifications on and off, and we were eating last night, and then it's ding 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 ding. Okay, if I offer myself as an experiment with all of these phones, I mean that's one phone going dings. You had more dings than 4 phones here put together with dings. He had more dings in 1 minute than all these 4 phones in 1 month. Do you even know what that's doing to your head?
That'd be crazy.
You don't even know what's that doing to your nervous system. How it dismisses how dangerous it actually is. So because I used to be in a protection agency and I trained police officers, on their radio there's an emergency alert tone. Sounds like that. Sounds like a dying. That's a bad example. That's a bad example because the sound of a pig and then these are cops. Okay, well, that's a bad example. Let me withdraw that. No, it just sounds like a cat dying on their radio. But literally, if a cop gets beat up or something like that, or someone's grabbing their gun or something like that, they hit the emergency alert tone. And if you ever got a chance to train in a police academy, now they wear the earpiece and it's constant chatter. It was more chatter back then. It's less chatter now. Back in the day, they used to talk about everything on the radio, I swear, like what they're eating for dinner. Now, most of their work is on laptops. And the important stuff go over the radio, Stephen. And they're very easily distracted, and they cannot. And they have to condition their mind that the mind is always looking for priorities. It is always scanning for priorities. And what happened here, Steve, is that those dings signify a text message, but you see a few of them were from me, left unanswered. That's why I told you to turn on. But as you turn it on, my messages are being in the pool of other messages. So I'm giving real-time information about the Arlo cameras, right? And everything else, and I'm not getting a response. So that's why I call. If someone's breaking into your grandma's house right now, is trying to kill grandma right now, the first cop gets on scene, realizes he's in danger and something's wrong. He hits the emergency alert tone, and everybody else is do 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 do, and they miss the emergency, and they have. I couldn't tell you how many days if you sit there alone and you hear the dispatcher say 343 Bravo, and there's silence. Now everybody's blood pressure just went up because they respond within 1 second. Sector 13 Charlie. Now it's complete silence, and then the dispatcher is like, then they call their names out. They're like, radio to Sector 13 Charlie, Deputy Wall. Then you hit the emergency alert tone. But the fact that they missed their unit number tells you they weren't mindful. But you have to understand they're out there doing car accidents and people are screaming in their ear and crying in front of their face. So maybe, of course, they're going to miss it. But it's just to show you the complexity of our world. It's the information coming in, important information coming in, and they have to take notes too. Cops got to take more notes than you guys, more detailed notes than you guys, because they have to defend that in court. What did the defendant say? What did the witnesses say? Right? So they can't miss this, so they're missing stuff on the radio and stuff like that. So therefore, I just hope you, and you do so on your own, you do so because for your own benefits. No one's going to force you to do it. You let it keep going, and you can tell yourself you will never be successful.
It's kind of like the boy who cried wolf.
Right. Your brain, you're going to condition your brain to not know when is priority, when it's not. And Stephen, this is how relationships get broken apart. It's because the girls text the guys and the guys never text back. And don't that cause all sorts of arguments? Well, I can't believe I texted you an hour ago. Now you're just getting back with it. People are needy. People are needy. And that's why I asked, do you know how to please them emotionally? And that is one part of emotional. See, she's nodding her head. That's how you show that you care. By realizing that she is priority, but she can't be priority. I mean, unless you have to go all the way in there and fix her ringtone to a dying dog instead of a dying cat, and everybody else is a dying cat, not a dying dog. So you realize that that's her, right? Or a dying squirrel. You know, all the ringtones. A dying hummingbird. But even then, if you're that mindful, why can't you be mindful with everything else, right? If you're mindful enough to save that number under that name, under that ringtone, then what the hell's going on here? So you have to know in your life, and I totally get it. It's like they need a social life. It's the reason why they talk an hour long about games. But it's like we got to figure out how to like put that, have a set time for that only, and not throughout the day. But we mix it in one day, and it just messes up the whole cycle of trying to study and practice, and not let any of these infiltrate the mind. So that's a long list. That's not even me going into details of each one. If I were to take spam emails and text messages and just go into Home Depot, Staples, Office Depot, Walmart,
Protect my car.
yeah,
That's my company.
Kohl's, Amazon, right? Netflix, your subscription is up. Time to renew. Holy cow.
Yeah.
I mean, we just take one element, just one word out of this list that I just showed everyone. And it's just like, just the email alone, you're just like, how do I clean up my inbox? What do I got myself into? Just hitting unsubscribe alone.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Just the email, man. It's like
That's what we pay for to be in the United States. We pay for unlimited emails. You're paying your rent. And by the way, when you said unhappiness, we have a healthcare system that don't work, that kills more people than it saves, more stress, right? That's what you're paying for. You're paying to die early. You're paying to die early. So I want everyone to reflect this. The School of Intelligence, the School of Qidao, will be the smartest students who ever roamed the face of the earth, and you all have to walk as the wise. You all have to pretend you're Buddhists. You all have to think that you are Arahants. And Arahants don't get into this shit right here on this list. Fix the emails, fix the text messages. And if we talk into other humans, we better find out who the hell they are, what they want to do with us. Sextortions. You need to find out why she wants your body parts, or he wants your body parts. For what? What, you've never seen a penis before, right? Have you Googled it? Right? I want to see your titties, or you've never seen titties before. What? You know what I mean? You need to wrap that up quickly, because that stuff, that alone, the sextortion alone, that's one example out of the list. Did a number on a student, complete hell in a student's world, and have the student not receive supporting messages from family and friends that could last a whole week, and they commit suicide. How many people have committed suicide because they were bullied? That's a form of bullying, cyberbullying. Using sextortion as a form of severe, most potent, toxic bullying, because it has to do with self-image, right? Self-identity, right? And that's how people jump off the Skyway Bridge. Just one element in there alone got themselves into trouble. And when we look at sextortion, or in the arena of sex and relationship, and I apologize because we're supposed to be meditating, but it has to do with sense pleasures. Sense pleasures. The fact that, Stephen, is that when we look at certain body parts, it arouses us. We are now enslaved into Sense pleasures. Emotions, Stephen. Emotions and images and the meaning of that image is attached and the emotions that is attached to that compels us to do the foolish things that we do. Why do you think there's so many people caught with child porn in positions of public trust? Sense pleasures. Why did that one judge come down to Polk County for prostitution? Sense pleasures. Why did the Virginia state trooper catfish the girl so that she didn't know who he was and he was just, like Brad Pitt kind of guy and go down there and then whatever, something went wrong down there. She freaked out. He wasn't who he was. He's older, she's younger, so he was like, "Oh, she can't figure out my identity. Crap, and I'm a former cop." Kill the witness, right? So in Buddhism, we teaches you about how to control yourself. That's all this means, how to control yourself and how to have control in your life. And a leader in your life. You are your own leader in your life. That's something that I've taught Stephen this whole week is about leadership. And you can't lead other people unless you lead yourself. And part of that is all the sub elements, subcategories here that we're talking about in self-control. Now, before we meditate about the two situation, you see how the hell that you went through just for that.
Oh yeah.
Now, had you had the same training that I have, which is true nature of the body, true nature of medication to soothe the body, to buy time for the body to heal, to buy time for that pain to subside and mitigate. You're just looking for what it is, just like any other procedure where they have to cut into you. Let's say you have kidney stone, gallstone, or something like that. That we need you to take some pre-meds and then post-meds, right? How about people with like injuries of the knee and they have to go physical therapy for 2 months? Can't do anything for 2 months. Physical therapy for 2 months. So therefore, and then the one thing I forgot to interject when it came to when the body suffers is that it always reminds you the workings of karma, that we suffered that way, in that particular way, in that specific way, because of our karma. I had full faith and confidence that if that car hit me, I wouldn't suffer long. It would just be either quick death or something. I know that with full faith and confidence. Anything that happens to me in life, I won't suffer long. That's because I've given more and taken less. You see how that works? For every time, every instance we hurt somewhere, back pain, low pain, that's residue, that's residuals from karma. Just look at all the animals or any living beings that we've hurt. It manifests in pain, mental pain, physical pain. Mm. So again, it reminds us back to the practice of being kind, to be nice to each other. Whatever residual effects that is present or will be present in the future or in the foreseeable future that we think is going to come. If it's, for example, let's say there was a group of kids and you used the F word or however tone and manner that you projected. What if one of the kids was dealing with cancer? What if one of the kids had a dying mom? And whatever you said hurt him even more. You have to ask yourself, was it right speech? And because you hurt another human being psychologically, that constitutes just anger alone. The existence of anger alone in the mind constitutes negative karma. So, so every time when we suffer, we have to really come back to the practice of Buddhism and resolve that that thing that's on the shelf waiting for us. And every time when we study and practice and meditate, it gets better, but we're conditioning ourselves to be better and better. And eventually you become the wise ones who deal with situations very wisely, unmoved by anything, even kids in there. And quite frankly, if you reviewed your head about how I could handle it better, for example, my voice, I can't really scream right now. So if I was in your shoe in the movie theaters right now, I would walk over there. And of course, you're a big guy, right? Big guy, and the hair thing, and the beard. So you can imagine this guy walking up to you with mala beads. So you already know he's ayahuasca. Okay. And if you were to walk over there to a group of students and you said, you know what, really, you see that young lady right there? That's my lady right there. That's my lady right there. And you all know that I was once your age and I love being rowdy. But do you all think you all can help us out by just toning it down just a little bit so my wonderful lady over there can enjoy this movie with me? It would mean so much to me if y'all can do that. Can you do that for me? Pound it. And how the compliance would be immediate, quick, and kind to ensure your own peace. Instead of, you little shits, come here. Do you see this arm? Do you not see all of this right here? Do you see this beard? Okay? And then as you say that, you untangle your hair and you whip your hair around, kind of like Hercules, and be like, you understand that I can choke you with just my hair. Right? Right? The karmic effects that comes with that, right? I mean, you have the power. You have a lot of power that can do that. What? So again, I used to be in the protection, and I used to carry a gun every single day. And one time, I went with this girl out in the pier, and we were just sitting out in the pier, and these kids came by, and I thought they were gonna push us in the water. We're sitting on the edge, looking at the water. There's 4 kids, and I can get really just loud, noisy, obnoxious. And so one of them got really near and close, and then someone was just talking smack. I actually took out my gun and racked it. This girl was sitting next to me and she didn't care. She knew I had a gun and she knew I was in position of supervisory, so I wasn't gonna do anything foolish, but I took my gun out and racked it. I wanted those kids to hear the slide. Yeah. Bet you their button cheeks tighten up. Can you imagine that? You messing with a couple and all of a sudden you hear a slide racks, like a shotgun racks. Oh, you know that guy's got a gun. You knew he got a gun. But again, because anger was left unchecked due to not practicing Buddhism. So always remind anger left unchecked, agitation left unchecked. So again, and then because of any acts of violence, any words, deeds, or action, anything, we're transferring that violence over to them. Then they too become violent. If not in the moment, it adds on to the violence when they go home. Like if you were to display the example that I gave you about the hair thing and just holding up the fist alone, the kid has now a mental image of this fist that you just held up, and he's going to go home. It's going to give him PTSD because kids have these photographic memories. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that you shared that. But because you shared that, we had an example, a sample of how things were dealt with and how they could be dealt with in a more comical way, in a more effective way, in a more kindful way, in a way that an arahant would. Right? So maybe somewhere down the road, I start making hoodies as arahant. That's a badass brand.
That is.
Because no one knows what it means.
Yeah.
Only Buddhists know what it means. And then it's funny, you wear the hoodie, black and white, and it says arahant. And certain Buddhists will come up to you and be like, they look at you really weird. They come up to you and because they're like, in their mind, they're like, why would he wear a hoodie that says arahant? Hopefully with my face on it too. So they were like, oh yeah, that's they kind of look at you a little bit. They're trying to see if you're actually a saint, They're trying to get some words out of you, see if you sound like a saint, just to see if you're a saint, Oh, I'm gonna do that. I want to brand it. So, anyways, that's a challenge for all of you. Just so much happens in 1 week, right? To just I know it's really hard not to when we walk out this door and I'm not here and I'm not in your ear, it's that a lot of things, these things pull you away from me. That's the last thing. Jesus, who took the bread and wine and said, "This is my body." Oh, oops. This is my body, and this is my blood, which will be given up for you and for many. Do this in memory of me. So because I almost died yesterday, these are the things that will pull you away from me and away from the Buddha and away from Buddhism. Anything that distracts you pulls you away from the Buddha. Anything that distracts you pulls you away from me. So do this in memory of me, which is to meditate and reflect on the wise words. And never think I'm going to last forever too, by the way, just because I'm engaged in training these young kids and they're going to make all sorts of mistakes. I'm in the middle of them making these mistakes. So again, in honoring the teacher, you must pretend like he's not here anymore and he's always in your ear. You know, when I study for my Jancha, and he's always in my ear. Dude's been dead since 1995, 27, 28 years he's been gone, but he's always in my ear. And because I'm Catholic, I incorporate the two and do this in memory of him. And Christmas is coming up, so any Christian that's out there, do that in memory of God, of Jesus. Do that in memory of the Buddha. Let us meditate. At this time, as you listen to the Triple Gem, all of you focus on your breath as part of the conditioning to be mindful. Focusing back on the breath reminds us that not everything lasts forever. As things come, as they will go. Track the breath. Notice when the breath is long. Notice when the breath is short. You control the breath, not the breath. Controlling everything in part of your life. When the mind is not calm, take the deep breaths that's necessary. Again, you are the witness to the breath. Witnessing when it's short, when it's long, when it's shallow. Witnessing the small pleasure of the breath. Witnessing the suffering in the breath. Also, mindfulness of your posture. Always the back is erected and straight. When it is not, you always remind yourself, and you will hear me during this meditation, to be mindful of your posture. All of these are prerequisites for insight meditation. So at this time, please take 3 deep breaths. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami.
Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam.
Let's bring our awareness back to our postures, straightening of our back, shoulders relaxed, and noticing our breath.
Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Sharanam Gacchami Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami Sangham Sharanam Gacchami Buddham Sharanam Gacchami Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami Sangham Sharanam Gacchami Buddham Sharanam Gacchami Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami Sangham Sharanam Gacchami
This time you can relax your concentration and arise from your meditation. Back to the sound of my voice. Back to the sound of my voice. Anybody here felt that little ache when I said relax your concentration and you come back into this realm? You're no longer in the present with the breath and you're back in human form. You're like, oh, damn, these aches again.
My hips.
Any comments, difficulties during those meditations?
This
Feedback?
time it worked. When I was sitting over there, it didn't.
Ah.
Like I felt pain right here, and then when I did it this time, I didn't feel no pain. It was just nothing.
Maybe the Buddha wanted you to feel some pain.
Yeah, it's funny. I did some knees were hurting for a little while.
Yeah, that's what I felt over there.
Not uncommon, and then it goes away.
Yep.
Focus on the breath, and
Yep.
then come back. Now I'm sitting like this because my knees and hips hurt again. It's like, okay, let me go back into
For real.
some natural pain medication.
We the last time we spoke about today, we only did the CBT. Last time we spoke, did I give you guys any instructions on the Noble Eightfold Path?
Just to start looking into the links of influence. So started looking into that a little bit.
Did it make sense?
Yeah, it makes more sense as you, just like anything, as we start to dive into it. It's like, okay, well, this is the basics of it, and then we get into it. It's like, okay, let me get into it. So that was what I was personally going to focus on more today after we left and went home, because I know you didn't sleep last night. So
Yeah.
I wanted to focus on more of that because I had a couple days where I really didn't do anything at all.
Okay.
Just completely out of it. But with that being said, I didn't really quite realize until I started reading more into it. Where's page 36? So I have the everything down here, but it's all part of the 12 links of dependent origination, the 12 nidanas.
Mm.
And I didn't realize that there was two different, just like anything, I didn't realize it until I read it. There's two different purposes of the links of influence, and one is for like, it's all cause and effect, but like there's the links and the moment-to-moment creation of karma, but then there's also the process of samsara. So they work together. However, they are still they're together, but they're separate. One is, as you know, one is for like now, cause and effect. If I were to drive 120 miles down the road, I'm going to get pulled over. I'm going to get a ticket. I might go to jail, and that's the direct effect of it. However, the samsara, rebirth, and all that is a different, more in depth, more kind of like universal construct of the links of influence. And I also was learning that it's all, I mean, it's all cause and effect, I guess. Just bring it down to dumb it down a little bit. It's just all cause and effect in the true nature of reality.
All you have to worry about is this is because that is.
Right.
That is because this is. That's it.
Yeah.
Links of influence.
Because it was like, okay, well, the root of everything of samsara is ignorance. And ignorance leads to everything else as well.
And what causes us to, what conditions us for ignorance is all of that.
Yep.
What I've said earlier, all of that conditions us for ignorance. Okay. So again, throughout the week, do not let anything that infiltrates the mind away from mindfulness. Is because you can see that when we are pulled away from our primary objective in the spiritual path, how we can take irrational decisions based on just one moment lack of mindfulness, one moment alone.
That's something that I really like the phrase too, because I use that often. It's like it's moment to moment. It's not second to second, hour to hour. One of the monks at the temple down there we were speaking to, he was talking about the I forget how it's referred to as, but ignorance, suffering, and the non-self, and how to bring it all into. Don't think about, okay, I'm going to have a good month, or I'm going to have a good week, or I'm going to have a good day. I'm going to have a good moment right now. This is a moment that I'm in, and this is going to be a good moment. And if we have a good moment from each moment to the next, and we will have a good day, week, month, year, and so on. And when those things do happen to us that are unsettling, if you will, then we can tackle that with be unmoved.
Venerable Varapanyo sat right there before you all came. Steve saw Varapanyo on my timeline a year ago. He sat there. Yesterday he gave a podcast and he says, y'all know what moment a moment is? It means an asteroid is coming towards this way right now. In this moment, an asteroid is flying towards Earth. What anyone of y'all want to send the asteroid an email telling him, yeah, why don't you wait a little bit because I need to pay my bills or get my stuff in order before it comes? Not gonna happen. So when we live in the past or in the future, that's what we're doing. Is that we're ignoring the asteroid. When it's in the moment, it's coming, it's right now. I thought that was a very good analogy that he used. Obviously, he reflected deeply on the teachings to give us real life. Whoa, it's coming. Likewise, when you go see sports, in the moment, you see the ball flying, you're like, oh, everything's in the moment right now. There's no changes that can change the moment. Okay, well, very good. And lastly, Stephen, when you're bored, you look at the History Channel. I invite you to look at the life of Buddha on YouTube when you're bored, because as I opened up the my little cheat sheet here on the far right corner here, chapter 1 and chapter 2, right here, chapter 1, the historical perspective, right? The historical perspective of the Buddha. And here you have the life of the Buddha, early life, the foresights, renunciation, search, enlightenment, teacher, last words. So your history, stuff that you're looking at, ain't gonna serve you nothing, right?
Yep.
Just tells you about World War II, World War One, how they ran around with a bunch of long, heavy guns. It's not gonna do any purpose. But if you use history and study the history of the Buddha, it will reinforces what we're doing here and solidify your strength, belief, confidence, and faith in the man that taught us how not to lose our minds in the world that is conditioning us to do so. Some last remarks. As the world trying to get people to be more materialistic, we have now come towards the age of drones, man flown drones, jetpacks, and robots. So it's my position, do not buy a robot. Do not buy a jetpack. Do not buy any of those because they'll be quick death. Humans make robots. Humans program robots. And all it takes is one CEO to wake up on the wrong side of the bed to program that robot to kill you that day. And that robot will kill you that day. There's a red button on the robot, which is to turn it off. Good luck trying to get to that red button. So again, our world is changing very rapidly and it's trying to condition people. It is safe to have a robot. You need a robot. Just like in this room, this carpet. Yeah, we need a little Roomba running around here, vacuuming for us so that we can gain more weight. Right? Right. And then after Roomba, there's gonna be, Steven 4.0 with arms.
Oh my god, have you seen the movie Wall-E? Alright.
It's a long time ago.
We watched it like a year ago or something. I'd never seen it before. And talking about robots and getting fat, like myself, that is exactly what that whole ultimate underlying premise of that movie was: is people on a spaceship because they left Earth because they destroyed Earth, and then the robots do everything, and they wake up in this chair and they get wheeled around and they get fed and drank and everything is, and they're just in a chair and they have a screen in front of them, and it blew my mind the depth of that movie.
And you ready for it? Because you knew it was coming. And it wipes your butt for you.
Yeah.
And Stephen, it is exactly specifically how they wipe your butt for you that you love it the most. See how graphic I get? Exactly. But that's what our world is becoming to. I have much to say about that, but I'm pretty sure some CEOs are going to send hitmen to come kill me. The influence I got and me telling people not to get robots when they're trying to make money on it, they're going to try to kill me. Don't worry. They'll concoct a bunch of stories and say, yeah, Venerable's actually, he's a billionaire somewhere and he has a yacht and he's sitting there teaching meditation on a yacht. Y'all should never believe him. Right? They'll make up some story and they'll be like, oh, yeah, he's a rapist or something. He's a cult leader. He's creating a cult. And yeah, they'll propaganda. Trust me, praise and blame is coming. Trust me. My job is to awaken people and keep y'all from into the samsaric cycle of pain and suffering. That's what's happening. You get one thing and then you get another thing and you get another thing. And it's a they're using dependent origination to their advantage to condition people. Everything we know about psychology, they use it against us. Everything they know about human condition, they use it against us to make money out of us. Anyone who's bright and intelligent can see that, can see what I'm trying to do and what they're trying to do to y'all. That's the end of the story. I'm trying to undo what they're trying to do to you. And what they're trying to do to you outweighs everything I'm trying to do because they have more money than I do. I don't have any money at all. Get what I'm saying? They have advertisement, they have ads, they have PhDs that work for them to reinforce their projects and to throw it out there at Times Square, New York. Everyone that walks by gets more info, little bits and pieces of it, and then they act on it.
Do you think they're conscious or unconscious of the things that they're doing?
Who?
Those people that do
coding, all of the skills a robot needs. My cousin Andy right now, he's a professor doing it on dissertation is on robotics. That's his thing, which is kind of scary because he never told me. He told me business. He told me international business, then switched to the robots. So when I'm telling him sitting dinner, and I'm like, "But get that knife away from me." but but again, my cousin was the first one who told me, "Be mindful of your thoughts." And I was like enlightened after he told me that. Just one sentence in his room. In his room, he says, "Be mindful of your thoughts." And I don't know who he was talking to. I don't even think he was talking to me, but I caught it, and I was like, "Mindful of your thoughts." It sat with me the whole month, and how it impacted me on one words. So he's a very enlightened man to me, my cousin. And again, now he's in the robotics realm. He better not program no robot to kill me. But yes, they are
Police
very,
robots.
huh?
The new police robots in San Francisco.
Yeah, that they have police robots that they're gonna use to like shoot people and like go out of the field instead of them actually going into the field.
Oh, we've been having that. We've been having that in the military. We've
Yeah.
been having that. I mean, we have that in airsoft toys. We have little tanks that shoot little plastic BBs that goes around corner and it has the camera. So when they're playing airsoft game like paintball. So yeah, of course they have it in. So like I'm telling you, but these are in the hands of government, so they're responsible. And of course, if the government uses the robot in the wrong hands, they will burn down the police station like they always have been, and they will. But in regards to private robots, they can just hit one code. That's it. They can literally preset just one button. And if the CEO couldn't poop that morning, well, guess what? He's pushing that button.
It's so crazy. All this stuff is like all been. I like sci-fi stuff a whole lot, and it's all now like that's in Futurama. There's an episode where all the robots, the
So-
creator hits a button and they all try to destroy humanity.
So what that means for us is that we Buddhists, all of the wise Buddhists, all of the stream enterers, all of the stages of enlightenment people, as I call it, the group of saints. The saint governs all four stages, even though you've entered the first. The wise Buddhist, the group, will kind of like start veering away, and we'll aim towards the forest. We'll aim towards nature again to preserve nature, and no cement, no soil, none of that. We will start going back into the old practices and achieve enlightenment in the forest and cultivate wisdom and everything society conditioned us. We will go into the forest to undo what has done to us in order to prepare for death, in order to prepare for those last stages of our lives, to live wisely in harmony within our own group, because we don't fit into the robotics world. We don't fit into everything that I've written in that list, right? Sextortions and all these weird stuff that's happening now. When you think about it, you do have a choice, but whether you take that choice wisely or not. It's like the reason why people do these things is because they want to have fun. Stephen, true or false? Wanting to have fun with the girl, yes? So this is part of their fun. Part of their fun is, well, yeah, well, let's talk dirty and let's sexting and let's send pictures. It's fun to do that instead of just meeting up in actual, real human interaction and an encounter to actually know the person and know their intent. Now it's in a digital base where it's like, yes, have fun. And then they do these weird stuff. They lead to murder. Can it not lead to murder? You take my picture, you put it on the internet, I'll kill you. I'll find you. It gets south really quick. So the wise Buddhist will gather up all the Buddhists, the real practitioners, the authentic practitioners, and figure out how we're going to cook, cultivate, live in harmony, live mindfully, joyfully in nature, with nature. Um, just that's the future of Buddhism, I feel. That's the Buddhism that I want, necessary. Because I don't want, if I'm paying all this money and that's all I get right there, I'm in the wrong place. I'm not even getting health care. Steve was misdiagnosed and suffered a week. That week, remember I told you he was in New York? He caught some kind of bug and was misdiagnosed, and they told him it was viral, was going to go away. But I've been in the medical field for 15 years, and I'm like, why the hell this thing lasts more than 3 days, 5 days, nonetheless a week, and now you're still dying. You're dying faster than you were when you came. So I took him to Baycare, and they finally gave him medicine. You feel better now?
Yep.
You know where you are?
Yep.
You know who that guy is?
Yeah.
Don't make him take out his hair.
Oh, that's so
Don't be rowdy in his movie theaters. You know, you walk in, you see he, you walk out.
I was so calm the whole time, and it was like one sentence. I was like,
Because you work hard for your money and you just wanted some time off. And it was the exact same thing that the police captain of Newport Richie did. He walked in, retired. Or the dude was retired. He's chilling. He's collecting money, right? Has a gun on him. Some idiot act like an idiot in the movie theater. He popped, killed him. A police captain. But what was going through your mind? Dude, you did your 8, you hit the gate, now you're retired, you're receiving like 4,000, 5,000, God, maybe even $7,000 a month to enjoy life. Oh my God, go home to a bunch of strippers. Why did you have to shoot this dude? He did it. Expectations. I expect to be in here nice and quiet. Anyone else? I will play God.
when I was thinking about it, kind of like tracing why I had that reaction, I was trying to go back and back and back. And I came to the conclusion I was just trying to control something that was out of my control. And I was like, that's where it is. I'm trying to figure out where did that come from. So it's kind of like a long process to untangle the knot as to why I felt that way. But that was the underlying reason. An hour of this was, it was almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
After like an hour and 20 minutes, I literally extracted myself from the situation because it started building, and I'm like, and then here they come, and it's like a test. It was like a karmic test, walked right in front of me, and I'm like,
I want to share something potent with y'all so y'all remember forever. Animal instinct and the animal realm. It is exactly what happened when we're not mindful, is that we go into we rebirth into the animal realm, like literally in this lifetime, like right there in the moment, right? So that's what separates us from the animal realm, is that we make these foolishness and not think about what's happening, what's unfolding. So witnessing and control. It's so long ago when we were apes. Remember those Homo habilis, Homo sapien days? Just imagine now we were Homo habilis, Homo sapien, Homo erectus. Or, like like when we saw something, if we saw something that was displeasing to us, we would take a spear and just dealt with it. Like if we were procreating with another partner and our partner was sad about something, or our partner like cries and just points the way to the other gorilla, we would just be like, just kill the other gorilla. That's animal instinct, right? Because we feel the need to control. Because right now our world is hectic right now. Why is our mate signaling to us that this is happening? And what are we going to do about it? Of course, Homo habilis and all these Homo sapiens, they don't have Buddhism in their head, thousands of years ago, millions of years ago, thousands, not millions, but now we have intelligence. We have to caution ourselves what kind of actions am I taking, and whether or not these actions constitutes the animal realm. And when we see stuff on the news, we realize that these people became animals. They literally took rebirth into an animal, behaved like an animal, but is now being dealt with in the human realm with an animal mind, animal mindset, animal software, animal rebirth software. So I kept you guys a little longer than usual, just because all these were necessary talks, and it was an abundance of talks put all together, but it has everything to do with our practice, important, and especially him, the young 20-year-olds, the future gods of their generations. They're literally losing, and I'm watching everything unfold, literally losing their mind and into the samsaric. It was funny when you get to my position and you get to sit, and one day you will. One day you all will be in robes, either temporary or permanently. You guys just sit on this side and you just watch all the students run, and you hone. You're all the black belts in mindfulness. You just see the next generations, and we all just look at our heads, and I think we just meditated at that point. But when we look at each other, we know. When the wise look at the other wise, we know.
Yeah.
It's like if you were to act a fool in front of four of your elementary teachers, they look at each other, they know, right? And so, again, yeah, just I'm glad that you used the statements that you did in describing dependent origination. It's something I don't want you to go too far, not right now.
Okay.
That's something to investigate later. Once all the basics out of the way, you want to go deeper, then you go deeper into it. Very analytical, very psychological. And Ajahn Amaro did one that's titled "How to Teach Dependent Origination to Your Dog." And basically, it like breaks it down.
Yeah.
It's like a 2-hour talk.
I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, how to teach meditation to your dog. Ajahn Amaro, Amaro. It's funny. Thai people would frown on that title because when you refer to a dog, it's a very condescending and meaning thing. When you call when you someone for example you call someone a dog, it has a different meaning than what we take the meaning as when so Ajahn Amaro is from the UK, in the United Kingdom area, in the Europe area, so that they have the same analogies that we Westerns have. But Thai people who look at that title, they would scratch their heads, but it's all right. White monks. Any questions, Stephen?
Nope.
Any questions for these folks? Your other teachers?
No, I already asked. I already asked what questions I had.
If you don't know how to take notes, you need to research how to take notes. Just like the other day when I said, if you don't have a job,
make it a job to find a job.
That's right. Make it a job to find a job.
Say it again for your generation.
Make it a job to find a job.
If you don't have a
job.
Okay. And if you don't know how to take notes,
and research. Make it a job to find.
Be creative.
Yeah.
Say it. If you don't know how to take notes,
make it a job to take notes.
Make it a job to research on how to take notes. Right?
Take notes on taking notes.
Correct.
That's a good one.
Right? Everything we don't know how to do, there's Google, there's YouTube, everything's in front of us. There's no way you sit there and you keep on going through the YouTube shorts looking at titties when you should be looking at how to take notes. True or false?
Sure.
Right? And looking at titties just gets you more in trouble. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Has it?
Yep.
Okay then. Does it get the bills paid?
Nope.
Does it move you closer to successful?
Nope.
There you have it. The same teachings, the way how I teach, I hope you all down the road, you all have from my permission to teach the same way. You have to use the right words, the right vocabulary for the right age at the right time, right speech, or to drill it into their head. And just imagine if you were taught that way back in the days, as some teacher told you that in your dark agenda days. Everyone has dark agenda days when we were, out and about smoking weed, out and about having sex, being promiscuous, right? Some teacher walked up and was like, "Yeah, how's that going for you? Yeah, all them strippers you were with, how's that going for you?" And once they expose us, or we feel exposed, that's where change can happen because we realize, damn, how did he know? Right?
Strikes a nerve.
Right. And it takes an experienced teacher who have lived life to penetrate the minds of the young in order for transformation. Because if we haven't lived, we wouldn't know what stage they're at in life to influence them, to save them from them damn selves. You know what I mean? And so when I use these types of languages, some of you kind of, and the rest of the world is kind of like, what? We have never heard no monk say like that ever. Like the past 40 years, no monks ever used the word titties and ass and penis publicly live for the whole world to see. But they also fail to understand, due to ignorance, that 10-year-olds are starting to watch porn. Or they've been watching porn at 10 years old. At 10 to 13, they've already started having arousals and, like curiosities already. But it was through the opinions of the West that we shouldn't teach sex education, and that's how things go south from there with human desire, with just their normal hormonal growth and development, and what they can do and what they cannot do causes the frustrations in the adolescence to cause all of this mess about weed and violence. So well, that's a whole can of worms on problems of adolescence. So again, Buddhism hopes to change all of that, right? To enlighten everyone about the human conditions, about mindfulness, eating, sleeping, pooping, sex. How people live their life every single day. Eating, sleeping, pooping, and sex. Hopefully not too much of anything. Okay. Let us wrap this up as we've already gone past our time with the blessing verse. Prepare to bow also. You bow to the teachings, not to me. You bow to the robes. You bow to the colors of hope. You bow to the colors of change in the world. You bow to the colors that will reunite humanity. You bow to this color right here that had been around for 2,566 years and opening the door to a better heaven, to a new heaven, to the new light and hope that we see in humanity, and not to revert back to the old ways, to the old days, to hell, to all of the devil and foolishness, to all of the hell that we've seen unfolding. Yatha varivaha pura paripurenti sakarang evome wa ito dinang petanang upakapati ichitang patitang temhang kipame wasame chatu sape purentu sankapa chando panyaraso yatha manicho teraso yatha sapi tiyo awiwan chantu sa paro goa wina satuma thea pawan tuan darayo Sukiti hai yuko bawa everyone and see less ani chang buta bachani no chataro thamma watandi ayuan no so kang palang bawatasa pamangkalang rakan tu sa padi watasa paputa Nuva wena sada so ti bawan tu te bawatasa pamangkalang rakan tu sa padi watasa patama Nuva wena sada so ti bawan tu te bawatasa pamangkalang Rakan to Sapade Wada Sapasangka Nufawe Nasara Soti Bow 1, 2, there. May you all absorb everything that was taught today. May you all go this week with intentions, reflections, wisdom, intelligence on knowing how to live a more mindful life, how to reduce less distractions in your life, how all of the technological advances is affecting you and pulling you away from me, pulling you away from Buddhism, pulling you away from the Triple Gem. May you know what it's like to be a true Buddhist. May you know what it's like to be a true Buddhist practitioner as you practice every day, as you practice every single day, as you are mindful moment to moment and the preciousness of that moment, of how that moment constitutes the quality of your life as you eat, as you sleep, as you attend to nature's call, as you practice procreation and the enjoyment of pleasure of procreation. May you know what mindfulness can do for you to prevent you from doing foolish things. That mindfulness can inspire other people in your life to be the same. May you cultivate yourself to be the next arahants of the world waiting to see. May you be the next leader we're all hoping for. May you realize the light of your own true nature. May all of you be healed from your past. May you be healed from all of your wounds. May you be healed from all the troubles that have found you or that you have created. May you be a hope and source of healing for other people desperately needed in the world. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Repeat after me. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Repeat after me. I will go forth mindfully. What I did, as you all pay your respect. what I did and what other monks, senior monks do is to now ingrain it into your head. We're now injecting it into your head. We pulled out the needle and we're finding the veins and we're inserting that into your veins. That's what I did. And when I have you all repeat after me, it is to solidify and to reaffirm exactly what you need to do, what needs to be done at a very high rate of speed due to the speed of the world now battling with all of us. The speed of the Dhamma has to be faster than the speed of the world. The teachings has to spread wide, fast, far, and near the way that it does. And that every day when you pick up the devilish technological advances, uh, again, be very mindful of the dangers of that and how that could steer you wrong. In the week, the teacher reserved the right to press the necessary button to elicit the truth out of humanity. Remember the Jewish thing, Stephen?
Yeah.
The teacher reserved the right to push the buttons of humanity in order to conduct his research and collect data from humans. The teacher reserves the right to use humanity as rats so that he can collect data necessary to inspire others. Those who have fallen into the trap of the teacher, they did so because they were not mindful. They did so because they were ignorant. Do you know what that means, what I just said? That means I reserve the right to press the buttons of any police officers, any workers, anyone out in the world who will not know, you will not know who I am when I push these buttons amongst you. And we did that, didn't we not?
Yes.
And I tested it, did we not? And did
Yes.
you see the reactions in the world? And those reactions, the sensitive reactions of the world, was due to what they've watched on the news.
It's because they're so mind controlled from the apps that are out, like TikTok or, you know, all those other stuff.
Notice the inside shirt. It looks very human colors.
Yeah.
Be very careful the Buddha walks amongst us. Be very careful the Buddha will draw it out of you. And not a lot of people know who I am. That's a good thing. I don't want them to know who I am. And I conduct all sorts of social research out there to see where are we at, the heartbeat of humanity. So again, you don't know what I see. You don't know how I test humans to know what the effects of the world is doing to our humans. But return back to your practice. It's my job, not your job. Your job is to solidify, strengthen, all the more stronger. All the more stronger. You see that I was struggling to chant, but when I expound these words, it's very important for all of you to understand and listen and to remember. All the more stronger in the practice, all the more stronger in mindfulness. So thank you for coming. I always thought you guys didn't come. It's like TikTok, TikTok, 8:55. I may just proceed without them. So enjoy the week ahead. Enjoy the week ahead and go have lunch. Go enjoy the rest of the Sunday. You all got an earful. You all got some good stuff today, huh?
Always.
You all are dismissed.
Um,
Any questions so far?
do you have any specific studying we should look into?
Yes. So we'll wait for Julia to come back, so everyone can stretch for a little bit. Oh, Lord have mercy, that leg. My primary page did not. I don't think it. Yeah, that goes in there. I don't think my primary page captured videos, but
Oh, also, do you plan to um,
Plug that back in.
Have a lesson on the weekend of Christmas.
Yeah, I don't attach any meaning to Christmas. I don't attach meaning to any holidays. Every day, every day is the same. Ever since 23 years old, every day's been the same. Every day is a birthday. Every day is Christmas. Every day is Hanukkah. When people get all rowdy up, oh, I'm so excited.
Just wanted to make sure.
I'm gonna do it for all the lonely people. For all people who don't have family, loved ones, or choose to be single, or whatever the case may be. I'm gonna have services because I have so much to talk about, to say. It's constant. I have to battle with what's going on in the media right now. It's the rate of hate, the speed of hate. So I want you all to I want you all to actually do something fun as an experiment. Look at the news on CNN.com, and I need one too, Stephen, and find me examples of the first and second noble truth. And as you do your research, it will then help you see more clearly what our society, what I'm talking about here. I know you've lived enough to have seen it all, but it's so cold it feels like it's from Antarctica. Stephen.
Cold from interest. Oh.
Hopefully you all become future teachers of the School of Qidao. What I'm doing to you, you do it to other people. Is that have you seen the first noble truth? And can we find the example of the first noble truth? Where can we find the desire that constitutes suffering?
Sure.
You get what I'm saying? So your homework is to look at the news and find me examples of the first and the second noble truth. Find me examples of ignorance. Find me example of aversion, hatred, greed, hatred, delusion. And you ought to look up the threefold training, which is the practice of sila, samadhi, and just to see what other sources say about the threefold training. Articles on it. There's articles on the threefold training, just so that you solidify that. Solidify means to make solid, strengthening the foundation of the basics. And then next week I should introduce you all to insight meditation. But all of these basics right here, you gotta be down, you gotta have it down. And Stephen, make sure you start looking up the life of Buddha as a documentary and his historical context instead of looking at a bunch of people in World War II uniforms screaming at each other.
I think there's a I think it's BBC.
Oh, I think I've seen that.
On YouTube. It's like a complete documentary, the life of the Buddha. You
Uh-huh.
just type in Buddha documentary.
I think I watched an episode of that. It was their BBC's that's pretty interesting with the history stuff.
Yeah.
I like watching them.
There was that one, and one that you mentioned yourself previously before his mentioning was Jesus was a monk, Buddhist monk. That was an interesting documentary too.
Yeah, there was
That's a side note though.
there was something that I actually thank you. I wanted everyone to there was Who was that guy? There are TED Talks on mindfulness. I want you all to look up the TED Talks on mindfulness and take
TED
notes
Talk.
on it. TED Talks on mindfulness. Like for example, there's this other one.
Do mushrooms freak you out? These won't. But it's no wonder shrooms get a bad rap.
What practice grows stronger? What you practice grows stronger. We know this now with neuroplasticity. Our repeated experiences shape our brain. We can actually sculpt and strengthen our synaptic connections based on repeated practice. For example, in the famous study of London taxi drivers, the visual spatial mapping part of the brain is bigger, stronger. They've been practicing navigating the 25,000 streets of London all day long. When you look at the brains of meditators, the areas related to attention, learning, compassion.
So some of these TED Talks dates back anywhere from 4 years to 8 years about mindfulness. But I find it very informative because I have to use some of this information into my book, but it really reinforces, it reminds you the benefits of and how by how we keep the practice going, what it does to our brain. So there's a lot of TED Talks on it that is, I find it very useful to listen over and over again. And then there was something, and then next week, where there's Jay Shetty. I don't know. So as I was sitting there waiting to like get this information out onto my book, I came across this one other guy that interviewed Jay Shetty and another guy. They're all prolific people. Jay Shetty wrote the book, How to Think Like a Monk. I read the book. I already know what the book is about. But when he gave this interview, oh my God, it was so profound and so deep. So if you can find that by Jay Shetty interview, see if I can find it. Oh, that guy. I remember his name right here. Hold on. Is it Tom?
It's the same for every individual's.
Yeah, Tom Bilyeu. Hold on. Yeah, Tom Bilyeu. That guy. Jay Shetty, right? Jay Shetty. You getting this, Steven?
Mm-hmm.
Right here.
I already wrote it down.
Good. Jay, okay. So Jay Shetty, and then there was this other interview with this other CEO. So much of y'all got to study, but it's so good for y'all because I'm getting a kick out of it, and I'm an expert sitting here, and I was like, damn. So, and this one's actually for Steven. But this guy talks about everything all in one. It's just not about technology. Hold on, that one was before Jay Shetty. I'm not. Damn it, where's that young guy? How technology is messing up your brain, or young CEO. Literally, these Sundays can feel like I could actually sit here and teach the whole day. Y'all know that I gave me a college course. You know that?
Oh yeah.
Because there's so much information to download into your mind to make you like me, like well-rounded, like about everything in the arena of, like I said, neuroscience, psychology, the dhamma, and everything. Just incorporating all of it in at once, so that you're basically bulletproof to emotions in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I'll find it. But right now, you guys got plenty. You guys got plenty to research on. I'm gonna jam Steve up. Steve can have a field day this week with me. It'll be like mental boot camp. Steven, are you ready for mental boot camp?
Yep.
Do you know what mental boot camp is?
I've been through it before.
Oh, you do. Okay. Well, embrace it. It's coming again. Thank you all for being patient, And you see these folks, they love being here. No, if it wasn't for hunger, they'd probably stay here a little longer. Y'all get a kick out of this, huh?
Oh, I look forward to this I look forward to it every week.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And when you guys are not around, when I'm back at my place and I sit and I'm bored, I'm constantly conducting more research too, because I'm like, well, what is there I think the world needs to know, even though things have been repetitive. It's constant.
Yeah, but I'm so grateful for this because, there's only some, I personally didn't have any idea where to start, how to study, what to do, what to look into, how to look into it, what order I should look into things. It's most beneficial, which is everything you provide. I truly am like unfathomably grateful for this.
What's happening here is that the competing, again, I've just showed you all a whole list of what's pulling you away. And people don't know what to study and what to practice. It's so many competing stuff like that. How do I know this is worthwhile for me? How do I know this is worth it for me? I just don't know. You know what I mean? You got to think people like Steven right here, straight out of, and then parents tell him one thing. The role models in his life, the Buddha would shake their head. And so here comes me, and trying to trust me and trying to trust the process, and he has to be convinced that I will not steer him the wrong way. But all we know is what steers you the wrong way. It has to do with cheating, lying, killing, stealing, intoxicating substance, and sexual misconduct. Those are steering the wrong way. And steering the right way is the total opposite of all of those. Right? They don't tell kids that. So therefore, kids jump into, let me buy liquor for you. I'm underage. Here's some weed, crack cocaine, LSD, acid. You know what I mean? So this is a lot of joy. And quite frankly, I don't need a million students. I don't want a million students. Just enough here is contentment for a teacher to see and by the way, those who come in here and says, I will see you every week. It just rolls right off my sleeve. You see the amount of people that come in here and say the things that they say? Still not here. And I got one student that, again, told me that we come here every single week and is inviting me out to eat tomorrow with my assistant. Even says, I want your assistant to come with you. I don't even know what their agenda is for me. Because if you ain't here, you ain't getting it. You know what I mean? You have to hold yourself responsible and not just sit online and realize, oh, yeah, what he's saying is great. We have heard this 10,000 times before. And yet revert to their old ways.
It's not even the same, though. It's no comparison.
Right.
I listen to, because I only have YouTube. It's the only social media platform that I have. And I use it mostly for teachings and stuff. And I don't get what I can get even from your teachings on YouTube as I get from sitting here face to face with you. It's completely different.
Our teacher, my teacher, Dr. Ann Giroux in college, when she was in the room walking back and forth, I could see everything. Movement, body language, eyes, hands, what she's doing, how she's talking about it, when she's moving her hands and when she's talking, when she has the Jesus bracelet on her, when she talks about the 4 F's, friends, family, faith, fiance, and they're like, what's the 5th F? And she was like, well, when all 4 of those don't work, the 5th F is what the fuck? And when she said that, I died. I died. I was like, you did not just say that. I was like, she says in life, you got to have the 4 F's. That is so important. Friends, family, faith, and a fiance. This is what I said: eat, poop, sleep, and sex. Right? It's the same thing. And then one student was like, "Well, I thought you mentioned the fifth F," or somebody said, "Well, what is the fifth F?" Because they didn't see this one go up, right?
That's great.
And she said it, but she was so humble. And then the day that they started experimenting with Zoom calls and stuff like that, the dean of the school walked in, Margaret Scapto tears. She says, "We're trying something new, and we want everyone to look at Donna Trent, Professor Donna Trent, sociology." And I was so mad there was steam coming out of my ear because I've been paying $1,300 a class to sit here and watch a gal in North Carolina with her hot chocolate sitting there. She was one of the best sociology teachers I've ever seen in my life, ever heard in my life. I couldn't even see her, just on the screen. But I was really disappointed. I was really sad. I was really sad because I wanted a real teacher to sit there, and I want to see that I'm measuring everything. Intelligent students measure everything about their teacher: the face, the tone, the talk, everything. Just the absorption of like, whoa, at you. It helps your memory. It helps you remember. When Andrew did it, and when she's sitting there, when Dr. Andrew sat there, she played with her bracelet with the Jesus cross. I realized she was. I mean, I don't think she ever found love that she wanted, and just the thing that she said, just like it just made us really emotional when we sat there when she said that, how her mom was to her, like in person when she said it. Oh, that hurt so bad. I was like, oh my god. So when she sat there, when she played with her bracelet, I realized that she was reflecting on the 4F. Literally, as much as she made us laugh, she was sitting there, real fiance, and she's looking at the cross. It's obviously faith, having faith, But she told us how her mom messed her up, and her mom was also a professor. So there was no question of ignorance about her mom, but there is ignorance about the Four Noble Truth. That's why it messed her up. And this moments like that captivated all of us to become the next teachers of the world. Literally the next teachers of the world. And I was one of them. I was one of the recipients sitting in there absorbing. That could not happen over online.
No.
The hell. So some of these kids now are going through the online thing and stuff like that. They're missing so much quality. Again, they don't know how to spell because auto corrections on their phone. Resume now have apps that helps you with that. So literally, you literally take them to Mars, and they're like, they they don't know how to eat because there's no food. They poop, sleep, and then they die on Mars.
Yeah.
They can't interact with each other. Even if you put a bunch of them there, they don't know how to have sex either. They can't procreate because they've never interacted with a real human or know how to talk to or how to get it going. They literally have erectile dysfunction. They're just looking at each other's naked bodies and have no idea what to do. Literally no idea what to do. So again, the Zoomers generation, my prognosis for the Zoomers generation is extremely guarded about what it's going to look like in the future. But that's why people, then thoughtful, intelligent people realize the value of being in person to absorb what you're absorbing. Right? So I'm pretty sure Steve's tummy's all rah, 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 over there. He can't wait to go eat. Rah, 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 rah.
Me too.
Yeah. Y'all don't want to keep y'all in there.
Unplug now?
Yes, you can unplug.